All right. I'm Ron Hollis, and today we're going to do another business leadership series on people, process, technology. Three pillars of functional performance. I've been creating these little mini series. I try to keep them short, but I have very relevant information that I've learned or used over my career as an entrepreneur and a business leader. And I just feel compelled to figure out ways to share it with others that want to learn and grow their business. So that's what we're doing here. So all about sharing information. Our agenda is pretty simple. I'm going to talk about who am I a little bit, but more of my why about the people, process, technology process, where it came from. If you want to ask, should I be watching this? Who is this for? Well, it's for business or functional leaders that want to drive optimal performance from their team. Most leaders would like for their teams to perform well. The challenge is they lack or they need some additional tools to help with that. And that's what this is about. So the objective is to share some tools that allow you as a leader to assess areas to focus energy for the improvement of your team or their outcomes. Very basic. This is ABC stuff. It's excellent. It's very powerful. Typically, the simpler, the more powerful. And this is a great example of that. Who am I? A lot of stuff here. You can pause this. I've been very, very blessed. But then I'm an entrepreneur. I started as an engineer by training. My passion was business and entrepreneurship. I love creating businesses that solve problems in the market. I'm very good at that. And I do it using a combination of science and art. So I started my career with Boeing on the space station. Hopefully we have a successful launch this week. And Doc, it's fascinating to see. I started that journey in 1990, what's that, 30 years ago. So it was an idea then and it's reality today. And what I learned about that and working for the Boeing company was a strong appreciation for systems and processes, which is interesting. And that is part of this PPT, people, process, technology. And I learned that from Boeing. Didn't enjoy it, but I learned it. Fast Tech was a company, was a manufacturing company. It's how I got in manufacturing. My passion is to make things. And it was a great opportunity there. And what I learned about is that was a family business. And what was important about it was that emotional decisions are often made when rational decisions are obvious. That is so true, even in leadership. It's not in a family business. You get in a situation where you let your emotions drive your behavior. Your emotions drive the people that you want to be around. And sometimes that does not equate to success. I went off to start another company called Rapid Tech. And there I was trying to do everything as an engineer. I was trying to do sales and marketing. And I learned the power of focus, right? And at that point, it was where I had to make a conscientious decision to say, am I going to continue to be an engineer doing engineering or a business leader? And I made that choice in 1998. I quit learning tools of engineering and I studied, read hundreds of books on how to be a business leader, a business professional. And I launched a company called QuickParts.com, which is a great story in itself. And it's where I apply the things that I share today. I know they work. That was the testing ground when that idea would come about. We formed and built it. We built an excellent company, great company. And what you learn from that is being on a team of achievers makes business fun. We changed the world at QuickParts.com, and it was give me the freedom I have today to be able to share this with you. So my passion is leveraging the power of business to positively affect people. And I try to do that by sharing my information. So my why for people, process, technologies. I hate waste. I was born with it. I hate inefficiency. I hate waste. I hate wasting money, time, energy. And that's what drove me into business when you get in there and it's so obvious to see waste in an organization. So today I go into companies and I work with them to help them solve their problems. They typically have some issues. The CEO wants me to come in. It's always waste, meaning they're not performing their full potential. And then, the question is, where do you look? And people, process, technology is the first tool we pull out of the box is, well, let's look at that. And that's why I'm sharing it with you there. I learned that from years ago. I need to know where to invest my energy to focus. So my why is I want to help business leaders optimize their teams, providing a simple approach to assess the areas for continuous improvement organization. Optimization. Where do I go look to make things better? And the people, process, technology is one of the first tools that allow you to start to take a complex system and simplify it so you know what to do. So let's get started. So what's the problem? At the end of the day, business is dynamic. Your business is either growing or dying. Regardless, there is change. And with change, you have to adapt to that. And that's what creates the change. The change is what creates the inefficiencies in the organization. Businesses are comprised of functionals or departments, right? So think big business down into a bunch of functionals or departments. I call them functionals, thinking systems thinking, that have to work together. A mismanaged functional, meaning a functional that is not operating to its optimum level, creates inefficiencies and waste. And if you have too many mismanaged functional organizations, then death is imminent. And so you have to be aware of that. And as a business leader, you want your functional to be operating at near optimum levels. And as a business executive, you definitely want all the functionals to be operating there. And when they're not, which you get from the metrics of performance, then you say, where do I go look? So when a business is not operating well, how do you know where to evaluate for change? That's where it comes from. So if I'm a company and sales are down, I can either go to the sales department or I can go to the marketing department. I'm gonna pick one of those two typically. And even there, I got to say, what am I going to do about it? Where am I going to go look? And within that department, start to have a positive impact. So here's the solution. It's easy. 3 legs of the stool. It's either people, process, or technology. So we'll get into them. The people. This right here, this slide's a giant slide. I get it. I'm going to go high level. This actually should be a little baby series of itself. I may do that and build that out because of the people. We can all say it, they're the walking assets, most important. People are what drives the activities of a business, and a business is nothing more than the sum of activities of those people. So people are it. So all businesses need the right people in the right positions, doing the right things at the right time. Everyone gets this. Now, most of you have heard it. Very few people do it. Right people, right positions, right things, right time. Summarize that, and that's people. Leadership is responsible to assess and improve people to ensure they are orchestrated and prepared for performance. That is what a leader does. I deploy resources into a situation, and people being that resource, then I got to make sure they know what is expected and they're prepared to execute. People can be categorized into A, B, or C players. This is a very, very powerful element in that it allows you to assess your people, which you should always realize, so that you know what type of team you have. So the A players are those that are highly aligned to their roles, responsibilities, and they reliably execute. You know your A players. You love your A players. Typically, you love them so much you ignore them the most because you spend all your time with your C players, which is not what you want to do. The B players are aligned, but they typically lack something. There's an attitude or an aptitude issue. It's what makes them not as consistent. So sometimes they perform, sometimes they don't. Your C players misaligned in their role must be replaced immediately. That's the key that you got to go in. And I look at my people. Do I have all A players? Do I have mostly A's and a couple of B's? Do I have any C's? And so when I say to assess the people, if I have a C player, it's easy, low-hanging fruit. I know I must replace that C player. And in my opinion, keeping a C player in any role is the most inhumane leadership action you can take. Inhumane. You are more humane to go and shoot that player, let them go and find a role in the world where they can be an A player. Because everyone can be an A player somewhere. And if they're not an A player in your role, set them free. So drive that out. If you have C players, that's going to create the lack of performance in your functional. And this is typically the situation. And it drags down the whole organization, that whole functional, all the performance. It does not matter about processes. It does not matter about technology if you have C players on your team. It's also very important to realize if you are a leader, and you have C players on the team, you cannot be any more than a B level, a B player leader. Impossible. So if you want to go home at night and say, I'm a B player, then you keep the C players on your team. So when you get down to the people part, people perform in a role based on their aptitude and their attitude. When I'm hiring or when I'm assessing, these are the two things, attitude and aptitude. Good thing. Aptitude, I can train, I can coach. So aptitude, they have the skills, the knowledge, the experience for the role. They have it, right? Depending on how much further the reach is, like a junior sales rep, lacks the aptitude to be a VP of sales, right? So that's too big of a gap. But if he can move up and we can train him to be a director or upper level manager, or, we can train him to be that VP, right? So that's that aptitude piece, and a coach can help with that. Well, the attitude piece, you can't fix. You can't help. They have to help. But, attitude is, are they passionate? Are they excited? Are they team-oriented? Are they aligned to the values of your culture, what you want? Are these the people that you want to spend your life with in the trenches working? That's the attitude piece. And you want to assess attitude and aptitude. I typically hire for attitude, train for aptitude, as long as that gap isn't too much. B players with potential will grow into A players if they have that attitude, and then you help them with the aptitude part. It's very powerful in hiring and assessing. So, summarizing this slide, the most important slide: A, B, C players, get rid of B's, get rid of C's, sorry, and then attitude and aptitude. Processes. Processes and systems are critical to align the activities of the business, especially the people. They let us know what to do. So you want to leverage the systems and processes for a few things. This is how you drive that efficiency and the consistent operation of your function, is that you design the best approaches for the functional outcome. So you take what's worked great and say, why don't we just keep doing what worked great over and over and over? And then we know that we're going to get great outcomes. Makes a lot of sense. Very few people argue with that. Very few people also do that. So what you want to do is have the best approaches designed, documented, controlled, used, and then you train for that process, and then you monitor the execution of that process. So if you have the process you're training for and the performance isn't there, I go in, are we following the process? No. Why not? I forgot. Okay, well, now I know where my problem is. So let's fix the process. We need to do training, reinforcement, or replacement. Maybe I have a people problem. I have bad attitude. I don't like the process. Okay, attitude doesn't work. That makes you a C player in that role. We said we got to get rid of C players. So if you don't want to do it this way, that's fine. Just find a place somewhere else in the world. So I always say we want everyone to make the cookies the same way, especially sales guys. They always have, well, my way is a sale. I've been doing it a long time. I don't want your way. I want our way. And I want us to do it the same way every time. Systems and processes allow us to improve by assessing performance and making systemic changes. This area is this fast or this efficient or this inefficient? What if we tweak this? What if we do that? What gets better? Very, very logical, very, very powerful. And then systems process supports the growth and scale to allow an organization to expand. A growing organization gets more complex because you start to add more people into the organization. And when I add more people, I create more opinions and more free will, which creates complexity. I call that the art of business. And so you have to have systems and processes to bring all that activity together in an aligned, orchestrated way. So you want to optimize the actions to executing the outcomes, systems and processes. And then technology. A lot of people get scared with this word technology. Oh yeah, I'm not a technology business. I sell cars or whatever. It's 2020. All businesses require technology. You have no choice. So you might as well adapt it. So technology is broken into two categories. I call the first one business operations technology, right? That's technology required just to operate your business functions. Do you have a computer? Yes. Internet? Yes. Phones? Yes. Specialized software? Yes. Communication? Yes. Cell phone? Yes. Those are just business operations technology. And when one of them doesn't work, I can't get on the internet. Computer doesn't work. Phone's dead. I cannot perform. Therefore, if I'm not performing, I'm not executing the processes, my outcome is not going to be optimal. Business operations technology. I always ask these questions and say, hey, do we have any problems? What are our rocks? Yeah, my computer won't boot up. Fantastic. Thanks for letting me know. It will be solved today. So the second technology piece is, fancy. I don't have a fancy word for it. Just unique competitive advantage technology. Did you develop, create something, or reposition some existing software to give your business or one of your functions some competitive advantage? My quick part second, we invented technology that significantly changed the industry. That was one of our competitive advantages. No one else had this technology. We developed it, we patented it, we leveraged it. So we were a technology business because of that, but it was just one component. So technology that's special, and most companies today have some competitive advantage technology. It's very, typically they'll take a commercial product and then customize it. They take Salesforce and let that be their CRM, and then they'll create some custom capability within Salesforce that's unique for their business that gives them advantage over another company. So you got to know the technology, you got to have the technology, you got to make sure that technology is scaling. So it's that people, that process technology. So here's a summary. To assess any function that's not performing the expectations, just say, do I have a people problem? Do I have a process problem? Do I have a technology problem? And once I get those three stools, I know where they are, and I go down that rabbit hole, then I can start to tweak or improve that element. And then everything starts to take care of itself. So each of these components, they must grow simultaneously for a business to grow. And that's one of the most common elements is something doesn't grow with it. Maybe your people don't grow, either what started as a team of A players today are now a team of B, B, C players because the company is bigger, more complicated. They didn't learn or grow with it, or my processes didn't change. I still have them doing 10-year-old, decade-old processes in a more modern world, or I haven't updated my technology. I'm still on Windows, 97 or something, pick something stupid. But anyway, I don't keep my technology updated, and that's slowing down the organization. So you got to have that, and you got to keep these aligned in order to allow your organization to continue to grow. So people, process, technology provides that simple assessment to drive performance and success in a business. So what are the what? So we know the why. I shared, I want to give you a simple tool so that you can be better business leaders, understand where to invest your energy. What's the what? What do you get out of it? Well, one of them, you get efficient operations, which increases revenue, profits, opportunities for the business. Overall, when functions perform, good things happen. You get improved culture and morale because your team's aligned. Everyone's excited. People want to be on a successful team. And if the A players want to know what success looks like, they want to know what's expected of them because they're going to go for the next year. And it's the ability to know where to focus to continuously improve for growth and success. Now I know where to go. And when I'm doing my planning, then I know what areas I should focus on. Any questions you have, this is virtual. You can email me easy, ron@ronhollis.com. My passion is helping people grow their businesses, help entrepreneurs, and happy to chat.